It must be terrible to live in a cold, dark country like Finland. But I'm not here to talk about the weather. What I am here to talk about is a four-way psychological operation. So the four people are Joey Barton, Jeremy Vile, Tommy, the football supporter from Luton, plays out on the far right of midfield, and then the last one is Katie Hopkins. So let's start off with Joey Barton, right? So who is he? So most people know that he was a professional footballer, kind of middle of the road one, really. By all accounts, when he was very small, like a kid, he got knocked back. I think it might have been from Everton Football Club because he was too small, and he just about managed to make it into the Premier League. And he was sort of let's put it this way: he made Vinnie Jones look skillful. So this guy, he appears to have a loose screw. He's a loose cannon. He's actually more well known, or better well known, for the things that he did off the pitch to some of his teammates. So, for example, he put a cigarette out in somebody's eye because he lost his rag when he was on a night out with them. There was another one, I think, a training ground incident where he basically, he inflicted some very, very serious injuries on a teammate, and even when this teammate was unconscious, he was still pummeling this guy. He had to be dragged off by his teammates, so the bloke nearly committed murder. So, for me, as a Christian, I believe that it's possible that people can be demonically possessed. So is Joey Barton demonically possessed? It wouldn't surprise me at all. That might have been, could it have been that Joey Barton was given an offer from Satan that he decided to accept? This was, he could be a professional footballer, but only if he agreed to work for Satan. So let's look at some of the other things that Joey Barton has done that's quite unusual. So for a while, I remember him appearing on BBC Newsnight, actually doing some voice to camera stuff where he was trying to sort of make out that he was some sort of philosopher, this absolute lunatic thug. And he's also appeared on, I think he's appeared on Question Time as well. So this seems to be really unusual. Why would Joey Barton appear on those programs that he just didn't seem qualified to appear on? So for me, I believe that this guy could well be a lifetime actor, somebody who works for Satan, who's at Satan's beck and call, a hired hand for Satan. So the other thing was, up until fairly recently, he was the manager of Bristol Rovers, which was a League One team. Again, quite surprising given that he'd previously been manager of Fleetwood Town and done nothing. Plus, again, he was a loose cannon, so he was constantly getting into trouble. Then all of a sudden, he acquires a high-profile presence on Twitter, and suddenly he's got a high-profile podcast that's being pushed by YouTube. So again, for me, what I immediately say is that if you are being pushed by the alternative mainstream media or by like the BBC or whatever, you're appearing on their programs, it must be because you're part of their team, you're controlled. So anyway, the other day he gets into a spat on Twitter with another lifetime actor called Jeremy Vile. And he called Jeremy Vile. He said he's like a two phrases, and the something about his bicycle, right? Let's just say that, you know. And for me, it wasn't even clear, you know, like, was he accusing his bicycle, you know, of being not a minor attracted person, a Matt, but a minor attracted bicycle, you know, that this bicycle is, it likes little bikes that kids have or something. I don't know, it's just stupid. It's a supposed slur. I don't think, you know, I can think of a lot worse things to call somebody's bicycle, you know. It's just like, just ridiculous, just noise, you know, what I call peasants pantomime. And the other thing as well, I might as well say it now, this guy Jeremy Vile, he always used to pop up on my Twitter feed even though I was never following him, right? So that's weird, isn't it? So Elon Musk's Al Gore was obviously pushing Jeremy Vile on me, right? So why did they do that? I think it's just like as wind up, you know. There was you know, things that he would do, or he'd be on his bicycle videoing, trying to get car drivers into trouble or whatever, right? So my advice to all of you watching this video who've got Twitter is to go onto it now, find Jeremy Vile and just block his tweets, right? And stop them from trolling you with Vile's nonsense. So like with all trolls, the best thing to do is just block them. Block, 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 block. Tell them, you know, whatever it is, speak to the hand, whatever the Americans say. I'm not sure if it's got a tissue in, but, you know, speak to the hand. Block him. Block him, he loses his ability to troll you. And what he wants for you to do is to get a reaction from you. So it now turns out that Jeremy Vile's lawyers are involved, and the word is that Jeremy Vile is going to sue Joey Barton for like bad mouthing his bicycle. So right, okay, so Joey Barton as well is crowdfunding, right? So he's doing a bit of grifting, right? This bloke was a Premier League footballer and he's appealing to ordinary people for, you know. What this smacks of for me is staged. It's like giant haystacks versus Big Daddy. It's just it's a fake fight between two establishment actors. So then we get a third establishment actor coming in, which is Katie Hopkins. Now, I remembered reading this myself, but I actually asked some people on my YouTube channel about this, and very nice person called Chella reminded me that Katie Hopkins used to be, she did army training at Sandhurst. That's still on Wikipedia. But what it doesn't say on Wikipedia was that she worked for the UK intelligence services, and that's actually declared in one of the books that she's written. So it'd be really good if somebody's got that book at home to do me a screenshot and forward it through to my email, which you can find under the community tab of my YouTube page. The Katie Hopkins comes in and she's going, I don't like Jeremy Vile. Oh, look what he did to my bestie Alex Bellfield. Like, I can't even remember what that was about now, but was it something like online stalking or whatever that is? I don't even know what that is. Basically Alex Bellfield, this is what we're told, right? He went to prison. Yeah. So let's do a little bit of a recap, right, on Alex Bellfield. So who's he, right? So he was like on the radio, wasn't he? BBC, right? This I'll put a photograph of him up now. He used to hang around with Jimmy Savile. Are you sure? Right, so this guy, right, Alex Bellfield, hangs around with Jimmy Savile. For a while he has this YouTube channel, so he's constantly grifting all the time. And it's like some of these other ones, he's controlled opposition, alternative mainstream. I'm not going to mention any names, right, but Alex Bellfield's set design looks very much like somebody who came on the scene, coincidentally of course, just as the time when Bellfield gets thrown in prison, right? And he's another actor, yeah? I think he was a juggler or something like that, fire breather or whatever. Yeah, so with people there, you know, I've already put something up on my community page about this. Somebody goes, oh yeah, but he did go to prison. Alex Bellfield is in prison. And, you know, at this point, I just feel like banging my head against the wall. So just say, well, how do you know Alex Bellfield is in prison, right? Have you actually gone and visited him yourself? Have you seen him with your own eyes? Have you seen it? Of course, the answer is no. So how do you know Alex Bellfield got 5 years in prison and he's currently sitting in a jail? Right? How do you know? Well, the answer is, people say, well, it was on the BBC. Sly News told me about it. GB News maybe told me about it too. It was in the Daily Mail. It was in the Guardian. Right? So again, what you just have to say here is, look, does the BBC lie to you? Does Sly News lie to you? Does GB News lie to you? Does the Daily Mail lie to you? Like, the answer to that question is yes, 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 yes. They constantly lie to you. Everything that they say to you is a lie, right? So, you know, of course you can't take photographs, can you, in a court, right? But even if you did, you could even do some sham trial. Oh yeah, blah blah. You're being sent to jail for 5 years, right? Okay, so, and then that's it, isn't it? Alex Bellfield turns up at Dunsfold Aerodrome. They put him on a private jet, fly him out somewhere in Southeast Asia where he won't be recognised. Jobs are good, isn't it? And you say he's in Belmarsh or wherever, right? And the kind of, like, even the Muppets in the so-called truther community, you know, they think, oh well, you know, they lied to us about the moon landings, right? But they didn't lie to us about Alex Bellfield going to prison. It's like, honestly, at times I just despair. We've got an ex-British Army intelligence officer, Katie Hopkins, who's best mate with a guy who used to be best mates with Jimmy Savile, telling you that this Bellfield guy's in prison, and you believe it because it's in the Daily Mail, and you know, GB News have said it. It's just ridiculous. Just wake up. Right, so the next normie take, yeah, is, oh well, why would they do that? Why would they, like, say that Alex Bellfield has been doing online stalking? Why would they have one establishment actor, crisis actor, like having a publicised spat online with another establishment crisis actor whose best mate was Jimmy Savile, right? That's what the normie take will be. Oh, why did they do it? Okay, so how about this one? What you have to understand is that human action is purposeful behaviour. People don't do things randomly. They do something with an aim or a purpose in mind, right? So what's the establishment's aim or purpose pulling off this fake fight stunt of sending one of their establishment actors to jail for 5 years? Right? Why do they want you to think that? Well, do they want to censor us? Yes or no? Do they want you to stop trying to hold politicians, journalists, and other people, you know, in the public domain? Do they want you to stop trying to hold these people to account? Would they like you to, we know when you see them out on the street, you know, you might want to say, I don't know, I don't like you or something like that. And the obviously the crisis actors, you know, if they want to go to a restaurant and maybe interact with the plebs and not get hassled and stuff, yeah? So how can you shut people up and stop them from criticising politicians and celebs and, you know, slagging them off, and you telling them how much you loathe them? Well, answer is you come up with like some fake case, don't you, that of online hate, whatever that is, and then what you do is you you select somebody, you do a fake trial, you say they've gone to prison for 5 years, you come up with some ridiculously long jail sentence. And what you're trying to do is to scare people, scare the stupid sheep, right? Scare them into silence. You get them to shut their own mouths by using Bellfield, the football supporter from Luton, as examples. Oh, look what happened to them. You better not open your mouth, because the same thing that happened to Bellfield and Tommy from Luton might happen to you. So it's been going on for, this sort of thing's been going on for a while. Like over the weekend, I noticed on Twitter, there was loads and loads and loads of clips. Again, this makes me think that something's been orchestrated. Loads and loads of clips from 2020 in particular of police officers brutalising people who weren't wearing their underpants around their heads. Yeah, and it was like trying to remind people, fear, 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 right? This is all this totalitarianism that happened. Now, again, I put it to you that nearly all of those clips were faked. They involved one group of MI5 paid actors inflicting fake violence on another group of fake MI5 actors. Yeah, so you've got somebody on a train, and then you've got some fat police person, like saying, "Put your slave muzzle on," and whatever. It's all about trying to create fear. It's like people look at it and go, "Oh, I better wear my slave muzzle, because if I don't, look what that could happen, like what I saw on the internet." And it's just, again, it's fear, right? And the thing that you've got to understand is they lack resources. There are millions of us and only a handful of them. So there's no way they actually have the resources to impose an authoritarian tyranny on us. They either need useful idiots, right? Or more likely what they do is that they create false, fake events to scare us so that we self-censor, which is, it produces the same result, doesn't it? If you self-censor, it produces exactly the same result as outright censorship. It's just that the self-censoring route, for their point of view, it's just far more efficient, because you're doing it to yourself, because you're a coward. Swallowed their BS. This is the third time I've done a video on this topic, and I've given different examples every time, but it's one of their most common tactics, is the use of fear to manipulate your behaviour. And as I say, the main thing that they want to do at the moment is to create fear so that you self-censor. So they come up with these fake, I don't know what they call it, libel, fake court. They say that they send some people to prison, but I don't think that that's the case. There is no way that Alex Bellfield is in prison, right? It's just stupid. Best mates with Jimmy Savile. Yeah, and the other one with Bellfield too, wasn't it? Was the one where the police came round to his house and they raided all of his computers and they didn't return it to him, and he had to go and spend, I don't know, $7,000 or something, what he said, on some new computers. Yeah? You know what? I'm calling that BS. I'm saying that never happened. Again, it's all about creating fear. For other YouTubers, it's like, oh, I better go easy. I better not make so many videos. I better not criticise them, because the police might turn up at my house and steal all my computers, and I'll be like $8,000 down. It's all nonsense. Right, the last one to talk about, I guess, will be the Tommy from Luton. So I'm not really sure about him at all. He could easily be like Mossad Tommy. I think many people believe that he's in the pay of again, secret services, maybe British, maybe some other country. It doesn't really matter which country, does it? Because this is the thing, is that nationality is not really important. What is important is religion, and we're not talking about Judaism here. We're talking about Satanism. Yeah, people in charge of this show Satanists. So the whole story about like Tommy the football hooligan going to jail for contempt of court, that one like kind of stunk a bit as well. You know, was that likely? You know, he turns up on the day that the judgment is being announced, and then the line is that he's done for contempt of court, and he gets put in jail. That could easily be a psyop as well. The only thing that makes me think that could be legit is that the state that he was in when he came out, you know, they either sent him off to Asia somewhere and put him on a keto diet. But I remember watching films when he came out and his brain did seem scrambled. I don't know, maybe they got him on some drugs or something like that. I don't know. Or the bloke could well be legitimate, because that's the other thing that they do, is that, you know, they utilise useful idiots. So the conclusion that I've come to is, you know, these so-called Islamic terrorist events that mysteriously just disappeared during the People's Pantomime. Yeah, what a coincidence. Obviously the Islamic terrorists were scared of Divic 91. so you might get some people like Tommy that, you know, actually bought into all of that believe that, you know, that these people are very, very bad people and they're a threat to our society and whatever. And, you know, what I'm going to do a video about this is that what the establishment want, another one of their huge tactics is divide and rule. And if they can get idiots to buy into their hate propaganda, and fight with each other, they just love that. That's like all of their Christmases come together. So Tommy might have been one of those guys that just bought into all of their hate, and he was useful from their point of view. You know, I'm sure that in the UK they've actually been angling after some sort of civil war in Britain for a very, very, very long time. Between Muslims and other people, and I think it's a credit to us that we've not fallen for their propaganda. Most people have continued to see people as individuals. You know, they don't prejudge people, treat people as you find them, which is absolutely fantastic. That kind of warms my heart. You know, and also just very quickly, you know, for people that say, well, you know, the migration's unsustainable and blah, 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 blah. Well, yeah, I agree with that completely, but it's a sort of a separate issue. As I've said many times on this channel, a lot of the problems relating to mass migration are down to the benefit system. That's why people come. So, you know, the thing that Britain needs to do, not just to cure the immigration problem, but to also cure the immorality problem, is that we need to get rid of the NHS, state education, and every single welfare benefit. Then the people that have come here to claim those benefits, then you know, those people will just go home. They'll go somewhere else where they can get some freebies. That's not that I hate them, it's just that they're just taking advantage of a corrupt system. So that's all I want to say today. So it's just like, you know, the best thing that you can do to somebody like Jeremy Vile is just block him, put him on ignore. And the same for, you know, Katie Hopkins. She can be funny, she's a good comedy act like Trump, but I wouldn't trust her as a reliable source of information. Because, you know, she's just another. How many more of these people do you want that's like British secret services as alternative mainstream media? It's like, come on, right? So I put it to you that if somebody in the past has worked for GCHQ or MI5 or MI6, they're not legit. They're there to confuse you, disorientate you, provide you with false information. And yeah, that's all I want to say today. So God bless.